Welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast. I am joined by Dre from Dre Area Sports, Sterling Bennett from 49er Access, and of course, I am Aaron from 49ers First Takes. We're going to be talking about the Monday night game. We're going to preview that. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the NFL. 49ers seeding and playoff positioning, all that stuff really has turned into the 49ers' favor. For a guy who's negative like myself, who has doubted things all along, am I starting to push or lean towards the other way? We'll talk about all that and more. Talk a little injuries and the latest on the Brandon Ayuk drama, maybe. But guys, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Last week was a good win. Obviously, it was against a really shitty team in the Titans. Some things to take away from that as well. And based on some of the comments, what's up to Cam's dad and Mick Malo in the chat. But overall, though, dude, I'm ready. I want more Niners football. And I'm actually upset I have to wait until Monday night to watch the Niners play, which is like, what in the world? But yeah, other than that, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, how do you not feel good, right? The Rams lose last night. Seattle gets a W. San Francisco's sitting pretty until Monday if they can take care of business. The 1 seed is up for grabs, and hopefully there are more good things coming for San Francisco, getting healthier finally as the year nearly comes to an end. But 3 games left. You win in, you're in, and if you win out, you're the number 1 seed. That is what you want at the beginning of the season. That is a perfect way to end 2025. So fingers crossed they can get things done.
Isn't that just crazy, though, to think about? Like, they could be the number 1 seed at the end of the season. Like, what in the world? But again, a lot of people would say, like, it's like a false hope. Like, you get the number 1 seed, but you don't. But see, it all rides on you don't have Nick Bosa, and you won't have Fred Warner for how long? He may even come back in the playoffs, which I think he's going to. But you don't got Nick Bosa. So if Bosa was set to come back, like the divisional round, totally different outlook. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that this team could be the number 1 seed in the NFC, bearing all the injuries. It's just crazy.
It's funny. There's that quote from the Macho Man talking about what happens behind in the background or behind the scenes is what's more interesting than on the video scope. And we had a spirited, yet it's a football conversation. It's not a personal conversation about the 49ers and playoffs and, how they should, how do you guys look at it as far as like, do you win and it doesn't matter who you play if the Rams get beaten and they're not the number 1 seed and you avoid them, do you care, or are you old school, kind of like me? I'm a little of a crusty old guy where I'm all about, I want to beat the best team and I want to have that. So when we win the Super Bowl, there's no back talk, there's no asterisk or whatever. And like last night, like just threw a complete wrench in all that stuff, because now, regardless of what I think, the 49ers, if they win out, are the number 1 seed, regardless of their deficiencies, their injury situation, all that stuff. So, yeah, dude, like, I don't even know what to think. I was so, like, resolute, if that's the word I'm looking for, about, Rams won the game. They're going to get the number 1 seed. Good luck, Niners. Brr. And what happens? The Rams find a way to choke the game away. And now I feel like, okay, I'm still going to stay where I am on the point that where I feel about that point. But to say that I wasn't I was influenced by the happenings of last night would be an understatement. So
did last night's Rams loss and the way Seattle won the game, did that make you more confident in San Francisco that they can beat anybody in the NFC? Did it make you feel better about their chances to go to a Super Bowl? They have 3 games to go. It's a long way to get there. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but we're talking about the legitimacy of San Francisco's Super Bowl candidacy, if you will. I think last night showed us that no matter how good you play in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, all of these teams can be had if they get out of their element. The Rams last night couldn't run the football. Stafford missed some plays. Seattle made some big plays late and got to overtime. And the Rams special teams on Thursday night seemingly falls apart too. So it's like, if you don't play 3 complete phases of football, you can lose. In San Francisco, although it doesn't have a great defense, they're playing darn good on offense, and they got one of the best units on special teams in the entire NFL. So last night's game almost made me more confident in San Francisco going forward.
Yeah, I would agree too. I mean, watching that game last night, the Seahawks offense for most of that game looked like ass.
Yeah, Darnold looked really bad.
Darnold looked, he threw interceptions to defensive linemen. He was completely rattled until the last bit of the game when they made their comeback. But other than that, he was virtually ineffective. And again, this lends to the whole aspect of whatever team they go against in the playoffs, the idea will be make Sam Darnold have to beat you. And we saw Sam Darnold under pressure. We saw Sam Darnold getting hit. And it showed right there that he cannot play well under pressure. He's immobile. And the difference between having a guy like Brock Purdy is that he can escape the pocket and run with the football, which is something that both Matt Stafford and Sam Darnold can't do. So advantage Niners in that aspect.
I don't know whose channel this is from. I'm going to put it up real quick. Sterling, want to cover your face? It's from Cam's dad. $2 super chat. It said both teams last night are beatable. Oh, we did. I don't know. Like
we did beat both teams this year.
Yeah, we did.
Both teams, but they both look beatable.
My whole thing has been with the 49ers is like, okay, so we went on this run recently. We beat 4 teams. I called them tomato cans. Sterling pushed back a little bit on that. Some of them were. They weren't very good teams.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm reserving judgment on a lot of stuff with the 49ers. The next 3 games are going to answer at least a lot of my questions of what exactly we really are. You know what I mean? Because, like, the Titans had a really bad pass defense. Wow, the pass game looked really good last week. Was it a coincidence? Was it Brock feeling himself? Probably a little bit of both. Maybe Brock finally feels healthy. So, like, I can be influenced off my spot, but there's some things that need to take place in the next 3 weeks for me to be like, oh, okay, maybe we do have a legitimate shot of winning a Super Bowl. Because, like, man, I just want to see how, with all these guys coming back from injury and all this stuff, like, what are we going to look like on defense when we got to go against teams that aren't the Browns or the Titans or the Cardinals? Like, I want to see what happens when we go against people that have competent talent on their team. So
but is Monday's game against the Colts going to be an offense where we sit back and say, wow, let's say San Francisco's defense plays well, and we sit back and go, oh, they shut down a 44-year-old grandfather at quarterback that can't throw past the 10-yard line. Now, that depends on context. If they can stop Jonathan Taylor, then maybe. But, like, there's going to be people that would push back and say, even if San Francisco's defense plays good enough to win on Monday against the Colts, that look who you're playing. The Colts have lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
Their defense is basically decimated in the secondary. They have 2 backup outside cornerbacks going to play. It's like, I don't even think, and this is more so to Aaron, because Aaron's been not a detractor, but, a little more cautious to kind of fully buy into San Francisco this season for a variety of reasons. I don't even think Monday would be it for you, Aaron. I think you want them to beat Chicago and Seattle. Then you'd fully buy in.
Yeah, Monday's game, if we play really, 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 really good defense, it's like so. On the other side of that, if they play horrendous and make Phillip Rivers look like $1 million when he can I watched all the highlights from last week. He was like shot putting the ball.
Yep.
He wasn't throwing the ball. He was like pushing it up and over. And I'm like, there's no way in hell that they could possibly make him look like a competent quarterback. Can they? I mean, all you literally have to worry about in that game is Taylor. That's it. That's all you have to worry about.
He almost beat Seattle last weekend.
Right.
Took a game-winning field goal.
He almost did. But then again,
and that defense is way better than ours.
The Colts defense played really good against that Seattle offense, but at the same time, Seattle offense has been struggling. And I think what we're seeing more of is that sort of what the Rams did last night. And I think it's exactly what the Colts try to do as well. When you eliminate Jackson Smith and Jigba from the offense, when you take him away, they become inept. or what's the proper word? They can't move the ball. They look slow. They look out of whack. They look like a bad Jimmy Garoppolo offense. We have those games. Hey, but we'd have those games when Jimmy was our quarterback where some games it just seemed like nothing would work. No pass would work. Nothing was open. It just seemed like the offense would stall drive after drive after drive. And that's exactly what I saw from Sam Darnold last night. The problem is in that game, the Rams should have won that game. But the Rams coughed that up and basically gave them that game. And they shouldn't have. Now, what was the better scenario? This is where I failed to do my research. Was it better if the Rams won, or was it better if the Seahawks won for the Niners to get the 1 seed?
So it's better if the Rams lost and the Seahawks won, because what it does is, and it's all, you have to win out, right? Like you have to win your games. But because the Rams have the tiebreaker over San Francisco head to head, that would have been a big difference maker in deciding the number 1 seed in the conference. But with the Rams losing, it sets up at least a potential Week 18 winner-take-all against the Seahawks, which could make way for San Francisco to have the number 1 seed. So Seattle winning is the best if you want them to be the number 1 seed at the end of the year. But really what you're rooting for now is a San Francisco win against the Colts and then a win against the Bears. But also Panthers and Seahawks play next week. You're rooting for Carolina to beat the Seahawks, which I think they can if they bring it in that game. That game will mean a lot to both those teams. So
will it be in Carolina?
I'm not sure. Not sure. But yeah. So last night you wanted but you wanted the Rams to lose last night if you want the Niners to have a chance at least at the number 1 seed.
I'm so conflicted right now because it's like I'm not conflicted. I'm trying to figure out how I want to trying to get my thoughts together at the point I was trying to make. So like early in the season and even the off season, we were like, okay, not a Super Bowl year. Right. And we talked about it on scheduling stuff, me and you, Sterling, and Dre, we probably talked about it too. So that was the thing. We're not a Super Bowl team this year. We're trying to get the books cleared of all this, tons of cap space that is dead, all that stuff, right? So expectations go down. What the weird thing that's been happening and why I've been so not so quick to jump on the bandwagon of it, is because like which is it? Is it the team that wasn't expected to win is not built for winning and didn't sign a bunch of free agents in the offseason, but then all of a sudden things start breaking our way and we go on a win streak, and now there's a potential of us to get the number 1 seed and maybe run the table. And now all of a sudden, everybody's kind of setting themselves up to get really disappointed again.
Well, I mean,
and it's like, which is it? Are we the team that we talked about in September and in August, and that you shouldn't get disappointed if things don't go our way, or are we all going to fall for it, drink the Kool-Aid, like? And then when the Niners fall on their face, they're going to be like, well, they were never supposed to be up there anyways. Like, it's like either way, we have like an excuse built in. Like, which is it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, regardless, I mean, they're essentially playing with house money. They're a team that has been written off for quite a while now. And really, they were a team this season that the other teams like the Rams, Seahawks have looked at us kind of like how we looked at the Seahawks in years past, where it's just like, oh, you're still around? Go away. And then we just haven't really gone away yet. And we've gotten healthier as the season has gone on. Yes, we don't have Nick Bosa, but it's a team that, look, whatever they can accomplish in the postseason, I'm all for it, and I will root for them no matter what. And if they lose, they have the built-in buyout of, well, they didn't have Nick Bosa, they didn't have Michael Williams, they had a lot of injuries all year, and it is what it is. But the team itself is going to rely heavily on its offense. So if they can avoid teams like the Philadelphia Eagles that have a really good defense, if they can take on these teams that are a little more inept at playing defense, then they have a shot to go all the way to the Super Bowl. If they go into week 1 with number 1 seed and they go against the Carolina Panthers, then I think we win that game. And then after Carolina, you have to win one more game to get to the Super Bowl. Can you imagine that? And then can you imagine they get to the NFC title game and they're playing against who? Like the Packers, who don't have Micah Parsons. That's a huge difference maker right there. You don't have a guy that's constantly somebody you have to watch out for, constantly a guy that you have to double team on the offensive line or chip block. You don't have to do that with him anymore because he's not there. So that changes their whole outlook. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And, as of now, there isn't really one team that scares me the most other than probably the Rams because they have a really good offense. They have Matt Stafford. But look, Devontae Adams, he's out. He'll likely come back for the playoffs. They were really hoping for the number 1 seed so they can get a bye week and let him rest an extra week. Now they don't have that luxury anymore. Now, if they lose against against the Falcons, which they won't, because I think they have the Falcons and the Cardinals. They have 2 easy-ass teams. Now they're not going to get number 1 seed. There's no way. Because if the Seahawks beat the Niners, I mean, there is a way if Seahawks lose out and Niners lose out. But if it comes down to week 18 and Niners win that game or Seahawks win that game, I mean, they're going to get the number 1 seed. It's done.
Yeah, I think the sentiment from fans that either are in or they're out or just don't know where they stand on how far San Francisco can go, I think it's a testament to how quickly the NFL has changed in the last couple weeks or so, where hey, you walk into a year and you feel certain things. Aaron said 11-6 to begin the year. I said 10-7. They're 10-4. They're right there in between both of our predictions on the season, and they very well could outpace what we said they could do to begin the year. And that's despite the injuries they have because things have changed so much. Some teams are better than they were to begin the year, or at least we thought they were going to be. Some teams are a lot worse. And I think, it's all about when do you get hot? A hot hand in the NFL sometimes can lead you to winning games you're not supposed to. This team shouldn't have beat the Rams early in the season, but they did. This team really shouldn't have beat Seattle early in the season, but they did. This team got boat raced by the Texans. Okay, fine. They got, the same thing happened against the Rams later in the year, but you're still 10-4. It doesn't matter. Like, you may not even have to play the teams we can all agree are probably better than the San Francisco 49ers. And that's the beauty of the NFL. You may not have to play LA come playoff time. You may skip over Seattle for whatever reason that may be. And the way things are trending is the Colts have lost 4 games in a row. The Texans are surging. The Jaguars are surging again in the AFC. In the NFC, you look at things. The Rams, although aren't falling apart, they have shown there is more holes in what their success has looked like to begin the season than where it is now. Seattle's offense is not very good in the second half. They can always run the football. They had some luck last night to win that game. You're looking at teams in the NFC North. The Packers have lost Tucker Kraft, Micah Parsons, Gervonta Wyatt. They have lost both their top defensive linemen. They're beatable. The Bears have beaten 2 winning teams all year, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, I'm scared of Chicago. And they're a darn good team for a lot of reasons, but a lot of the holes that are being poked in San Francisco is, well, who have they beaten? It's a bunch of crackerjack, no-name teams they've gotten over on. Who have the Bears beaten? A bad Philadelphia offense on Black Friday and a middling Pittsburgh Steelers team, whereas San Francisco has beaten the Rams on the road, the Seahawks on the road. And look, they have beaten some easy teams too, but you've also seen teams like the Packers lose to Cleveland on the road, tied with the Dallas Cowboys, who are going to miss the playoffs before they even got hot early in the season. So I think it's all about trends and when you're hot. And I think Robert Saleh put it the right way. It's about, can you peak at the right time? You saw San Francisco in 2021. They peaked at the right time. And they ran into a darn good football team, the Rams. Yeah, and it's like, I just think San Francisco's in a place where they can beat anybody, they can lose to anybody, but that's what makes them so dangerous compared to other teams in the NFL, in the NFC, where the Panthers probably can't beat anybody. The Buccaneers have clear and obvious detriments to their roster. San Francisco has a high-powered offense with the Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame running back, and right now playing as the second-best quarterback in the entire conference, Brock Purdy. You walk into a playoff game with that, give me that house money any day of the week.
Brock Purdy is playing at an extremely high level right now, and we've seen a difference. Like, I was really impressed the way that Mac Jones had played all year, but now after seeing Brock Purdy run the system now for, 4 games.
4 games, yeah.
You're starting to see what he does that Mac Jones can't do. His scrambling ability, why it helps the offense so much. It's not just like he can scramble, so what? No, he can extend plays and he can actually run for first downs. I think that the days that we saw against Carolina where he was trying to force the ball downfield and not be smart with the ball, we've seen him make that adjustment. Against the Tennessee Titans, he ran out on, I guess it's a naked bootleg off to his left, and he could have forced the ball down the field to Ricky Pearsall. It would have been a tight window throw. Would have had to have touch on it. No, instead, he pulled it down, he ran, he got the first down. That was a smarter move because it's like, hey, I could try that pass. Am I going to hit it? We're going to find out. Or I could just tuck it down, get the first down, and keep a chance moving. And that's exactly what he did. And we're seeing Brock Purdy make smarter and more cerebral decisions on how to move the football down the field and not turn it over. Didn't turn it over against the Titans. Didn't turn it over against the Browns.
Well, he did turn it over against Tennessee.
Well, but
that was kind of
that wasn't really his fault. You know what I mean? That wasn't his fault. And then even that, I was kind of like, I remember when it happened, I was like, are you kidding me, dude? Yeah. Not that it was his fault, but I was like, that really just happened? My God. And that really got the Titans, I guess you could say, back in the game, even though they never actually were in the game. But it kind of gave them life. So really, if Brock can continue to do this is what I've been saying since the Browns game. If he can play that way, high accuracy, no mistakes, high IQ football, it's going to be tough to stop this team. And when you watch breakdowns like Johnny Dell's breakdown on the offense when they went against the Titans, you saw that Kyle Shanahan basically schemed up, hey, we're going to go fast pace, and we're going to keep Sebastian Joseph Day and Jihad Ward?
Yeah.
Jihad Ward on the field who are not good against the pass. And so he kept them out there. And then when they finally got Joseph Day off the field, they did a run play and they got a first down. So he's very smart in how he is crafting his game plans every single week. And to me, look, I know he's been in the Super Bowl twice, 3 times if you count the Falcons, but this is the best I've ever seen Kyle Shanahan coaching, especially calling plays. I mean, it's the best I've ever seen. And I think last year set up the success for this year. He had to figure it out with all the injuries last year, and I think this year he was ready for it. He was okay. If I don't have this person, then I'm going to do this. If I don't have that guy, then I'm going to do this. And he's just good at finding ways to put players in positions to find success, and it's amazing to watch.
Real quick, Cam's dad again with the super chat says we ended up with the 4th hardest schedule.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, like it's starting to look that way just based on the NFC West
Sterling rolls
on its own.
What?
Did you see that stat about the EVOA? The Niners had. So based on EVOA, that basically how the teams turned out this season, the Niners had the 4th hardest schedule.
Wow.
I don't know if it was in the NFL, or in the NFC, but they had the 4th hardest schedule. Maybe Cam's dad could break that down. But that shows a lot because, I mean, everyone kept saying, well, you got an easy schedule. And look, they got an easy schedule at the beginning, sort of, and then
it's also
last little stretch.
It's an easy schedule based off how teams performed last year.
Yeah.
It doesn't take into account what teams are during the active season. But Aaron, go ahead.
So we talked about this in the chat on Twitter or X. And you guys, it was 2-1 the whole time, and that's fine because I love those kind of conversations. I was having this conversation with my brother. He made a reference to the 49ers. They're kind of pulling like a New York Giants. They got hot at the right time, one of those years, whatever. And so my thing to you guys was, I'm the type of person based on maybe the generation I was from, and I know Dre is close in age as me, but like I'm always of the mindset of like I want to beat the best team in order to win the championship because I want it to mean that much more.
That's
and
great.
You guys pushed back on that and said, I don't care who we play. It doesn't matter if they're, not the Rams and there's some, a team that, made it to the playoffs that probably shouldn't have. If that means we have an easier path to win a championship, I'm down for it. And my brother's kind of so. He kind of is leaning, right in the middle. I mean, I'll ask people in the comments, like, would you rather go and try to win a Super Bowl and face the best competition so that people can't come at you after the fact and be like, oh, that's because they played so and so and so and so. Kind of like how people look at the Lakers in the bubble. Does the championship count, or is it because of the bubble? Which is it? So did the Niners were they really the best team when they won the Super Bowl in 2025, or was it a product of who they played? So like that's where I'm at with that. I don't know. In the end, if we ended up winning it and it was against lesser competition, of course I'm going to be happy. Are you kidding me? I'm going to protest it and be like, no, this doesn't count. I would like you guys to kind of, give me what you gave me in the chat and why you think that regardless of who it is, all you care about is winning a championship.
Look, I've seen it go both ways. Being a San Francisco Giants fan and being Golden State Warriors fan, I've seen it go both ways. I've seen it where, like with the Warriors, where it felt like every time they moved up in the playoffs, someone would get hurt. Kawhi Leonard gets hurt. All of a sudden, the Spurs suck. You know what I mean? Chris Paul gets hurt. All of a sudden, Game 7, he's not there. And I've seen it the other way around as well, where we have a dominant team and players are just getting hurt, or we have a weak team and players are getting hurt all around you. And you end up making your way all the way to the championship and you win. I've also seen it to where you have the shittier team and you're playing against superior teams and you won. Look at the Giants in 2010. They had no business winning that World Series, but they got hot at the right time and they won. So to me, look, as long as you win the Lombardi Trophy, you are memorialized in history as the Super Bowl champions. You look at Trent Dilfer. Was he a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Yeah. Did he deserve that? Probably not, but he will always be known as the guy who won the Super Bowl on a Ravens team that had a dominating defense. So to me, I don't care how we get there. I just want to win the Super Bowl. And if that means that we had to play against a couple of crappy teams or teams, look at Philly. They played against the Niners in the NFC title game. Everybody hyped that game up. It's going to be a great game. Purdy goes out. Josh Johnson goes out. They went to the Super Bowl for free, basically. And they ended up losing anyway. But still, it's things like that where if that's the Niners and they go against, I don't know, the Seahawks in the NFC title game and Darnold goes down with an injury, I'm not going to be like, fuck, man, I wanted Darnold in the game. I want it all. No, I'm going to be like, oh, shit, now they got Milton in there. He sucks. Awesome. Super Bowl, here we come. And if we go to the Super Bowl and Josh Allen gets hurt, let's say it's the Bills, I'm not going to be like, oh, man, I want Josh Allen in the game. No, I just want them to win. And as the great Al Davis once said, just win, baby. Just win. And that's all I care about is just win.
Yeah, I've heard this fan base
so I don't care.
Like rightfully complain about, I don't care how you get it done, go get a championship. You've heard the fan base this year screaming on X, on social media, to their wives at home, to the TV, to their beer can at nighttime, crying in it, saying, why didn't they go and get Trey Hendrickson or go get XYZ player at the deadline? You could have capitalized on this.
That wouldn't
stuff.
have helped anyway.
Oh, really? Out for the season, mind you. Now he hides. But like you heard this fan base complain of like, why aren't they going all in and all this stuff? Okay, like to some degree that's justifiable, but the main purpose of the complaints, the main reasoning behind the anger, the bitterness was because you are not doing everything in your power to win, right? You're taking a year off, kind of a reset, recalibration year. But with that said, I don't care how you win. I don't care if they win by a walk-off safety every single game the rest of the season. I don't care
push all the way down the field.
I don't care if they win 3-0 the rest of the season. I can care less. I don't care if every quarterback they play gets hurt for the rest of the season. At the end of the day, when that clock strikes 0 and the Niners are leading when the game's over, that's all that matters. Take last night, for example. You hear the Rams fans on social media, Kelly Stafford, Stafford's wife, bitching about the referees last night. Puka Nacua postgame tweeting about the refs, all that and the other. You think Seattle cares? They're like, we're the number 1 seed, and we have a tiebreaker now over the Rams. They don't care. You want to know why? Because wins are all that matters in the NFL. And if they have the easiest road to the playoffs, I'll take it. If they have the easiest road to the Super Bowl, I'll take it. I've never seen this team win a ring. I've never seen this team hoist a banner. And if the desperation that they haven't won in 30 years which I've seen people in the chat, Bobo is a constant reminder of, you're never going to win with Kyle or Brock. Get a ring. Okay, why does it matter how you get it? If every quarterback tears their ACL, I don't know, every stadium catches on fire with nobody in it, hopefully, and you have to go play elsewhere to get it done, do it. By any means necessary should be the mindset for San Francisco when it comes to winning a ring, to hoisting a championship. And if you're this team has lost 3 Super Bowls in my lifetime, and all of them in heartbreaking fashion. Whether it's a goal line stand against the Ravens you don't score a touchdown on because you don't give Frank Gore the damn football 3 times in a row and say, stop me, or it's a blown 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against Kansas City, or it's overtime loss 2 years ago.
Let's not go into that. We know how they lost.
But it's more about the agony of losing that makes winning by any means necessary make more sense. I don't care who you play. In fact, I don't want to play the Rams. I don't want to play the Seahawks. Give me the Panthers, the Buccaneers, and a broken down Packers defense. Give me that. That is the easiest path to the Super Bowl. I will take that any day of the week over playing the best teams. Because you want to know why? The 2020 Lakers, although publicly as a fan, we don't count that really as a win.
No, we don't.
They do.
That's fake news.
The Dodgers.
So what's the
2020?
So why does it change?
No.
Why does it change for Warrior fans when they look at that championship as opposed if other teams look down on the 49ers?
Because
the
Dodgers don't look down on it. The Lakers don't look down on it.
Right.
The Niners wouldn't look down on it. Other fan bases can, but guess what? If you're hoisting
on
the
Warrior,
you can give them one of these and say, guess what? Come take it next year.
Right.
That's the point.
Okay. So the early part of my teenage years was heartache because I started following the 49ers in about 89, 90. Okay. So I kind of just got in after the Broncos Super Bowl. So the years with Dallas and not being able to beat Dallas was heartbreaking. And that year when they went all in and they went and got all these players and they beat Dallas in the regular season, barely. Dallas was still really good. The Niners couldn't really move the ball in that regular season game. And then we go to the NFC Championship game and we start out I think it was 20-point lead. They started the game with an Eric Davis interception returns for a touchdown. That Steve Young overcoming that to win a championship made that championship super meaningful. So what I'm saying is now we're at a point where it's just I don't care because a lot of people haven't witnessed it, including yourself, Sterling. I have. I witnessed the Bulls win. I witnessed the Yankees win when I was growing up. So I've witnessed championships from teams that I cheered for. I guess I would love it to go against a team that I think we can't beat and others think we can't beat. And then some who think we can beat because it's, the NFL's a crapshoot. At the end of the day, no, I wouldn't care if we got a championship and we had the easiest ride to the Super Bowl, right? But there's a part of me that is okay, if Warrior fans are sitting there and be like, Lakers doesn't count, 2020 doesn't count, it's COVID, doesn't count. And a lot of people look at that championship.
Mini tournament, they didn't have to travel. They were in the bubble.
The point is, Warrior fans don't think it counts. They don't think it counts, right?
It counts. So it's just kind of weak.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. So other fan bases, you guys don't care. I really kind of don't care either, but television is going to be, 49ers, they had an easy path to Super Bowl because the Rams got eliminated.
Who cares?
But at this point, look at what Cam's dad said. We had the 4th hardest schedule, I believe, in the NFL. So, at the end of the day, it's we still went against top-tier talent. And not to mention, both the Rams and the Seahawks are probably 2 of the most elite teams in the NFC. So, and we beat them both once already.
I just feel you're backdooring your way into a championship. You're afraid to compete on merit.
Oh no!
If I backdoor my way,
they've beaten the Seahawks. They've beaten the Rams. They lost Fred Warner. They lost Nick Bosa. If they get to a Super Bowl and win it, they overcame the odds to even get there in the first place.
And you get Fred Warner back too, especially if they make the Super Bowl. He will play in the Super Bowl.
Chill out, bro. Who cares? I'm just giving my perspective, homie.
Glory eye. What a great
Listen,
name,
you guys got to understand, bro. I grew up in an era, and I know I sound like an old head. I don't care because I am an old head. We're man, in order to win it, you had to beat the bully. Jordan beat the Pistons in 91. They went on to win it. Pistons didn't shake their hands because they're a bunch of bitches. Whatever. So the Bulls went in to win that one. The Red Sox finally got past the Yankees and went and like it wouldn't have meant much coming back down 3-0 in a world, ALCS,
incredible.
right?
Well, hold on.
I look at it from a different perspective of like, I want to beat the team that I can't, or I perceive that we can't. Like, I don't think everything fair, neutral field. If we play the Rams, I don't think we can beat them. I don't have confidence in it. But at the same time, what if we did? And then it would be like, okay, now I don't care. Like, let's go win this thing. But I don't know. I just have a different perspective on it.
Not to quote Kanye West for obvious reasons, but let's say at the end of the season, San Francisco somehow wins a Super Bowl, right? And they're going to ask you, well, you didn't play the Rams. You didn't play the Seahawks. You didn't play the best team in the NFC. Guess what I'd say? We didn't play him, so I guess we'll never know. It doesn't matter. Like, you can only play who's in front of you. Let's say San Francisco gets the number 1 seed and the Rams get bounced in the first round. You don't even have a chance to play those guys.
Mike doesn't have my back. I'm very sad right now. What the hell?
No, but I like what did he say? Gloria says, take a look at our team. We would take the NFL Cup championship right now.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, at the end of the day, if they do win.
Well, Aaron.
Would I be happy? Yeah.
Then that's all that matters. That's it. End of statement. That's all that matters.
Well, to give Aaron some credit, I think all of us in 2023 sat back and said, we stomped Philadelphia in the middle of the season, got our payback for 2022's championship game. And now we have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Now it's time to get some payback, right? Undo the wrong that was 2019, 2020.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Now that we're here and we're in this season, and Casey's having a down year, they're out of the playoffs, thank God. Mahomes got hurt, that sucks, but whatever. It's just like winning is all that matters, no matter how you do it. Do you think the Rams in 2021 would have cared if San Francisco didn't play them in the NFC title game? Do you think the Boston Red Sox, that took them nearly 100 years to break that curse in 2004, would have actually cared if they beat the Yankees to get there? No. You want to know why? They would have been celebrating a World Series victory, and the Yankees would have been out of sight and out of mind. Yes, it makes it more special, sure. It makes it more sentimental. It's the icing on the proverbial cake that is a route to the playoffs or a Super Bowl. But when it all comes down to it, man, you can be 10-4, you can be 10-7, 9-8, as long as you get in and make a run and hoist that sucker at the end of the year. It don't matter who you play, how you win, as long as you get it done. That's all that matters. Because guess what? You're going to look back and say, we're the champs, and you're not. That's the only thing that matters in sports. And San Francisco hasn't done it in 30 years. So go get it done. Go get it done.
Yeah.
I bet you if I was on talking terms with my nephew right now, who's turned 30 this year, he was born the summer after we won in 94. He's never experienced it. He's watched 2 Super Bowl losses, heartbroken. That 2013, because my dad passed away in October of 2013, and then the Super Bowl against the Ravens was in early 2014. That was a tough one. I was not in a good emotional place watching that game, and neither was my nephew. And then when we lost, I remember sitting there. My brother was off on one couch, and me and my nephew just my brother. He didn't say anything to us. He just let us. We were both heads down, just kind of trying to wow, that hurts. And my brother's I have nothing to say to you guys. I feel so bad. And so, and in that way, yes, let's go do it. I don't care. Look, I don't know. I'm old. I'm just an old school guy who just likes to have bragging rights and talk.
I don't think it's about that. Thing, though.
But see, here's the thing, though, Aaron, is that the more and more you talk about this, the more to me it sounds like you just don't want to get disappointed. You don't want to get in the playoffs and lose and be like, damn it, we lost again. Look at it this way, dude. Look at it this way.
Yep, that's true.
In my sports life, okay, 2002, the Giants blow Game 6, and they could have won the World Series with Barry Bonds. I was there. I watched it. I wasn't at the game, but I watched it. Yeah. Worst feeling on earth. I wanted to cry. I was so fucking mad. Then you watch the Niners get all the way to the goal line, pretty much, and can't get the ball in. We see them go against the Chiefs twice and lose. I'm not going to go into the details because we all know about that. So... And look, Marvicity, my Uncle Ponch, same thing. He's watched all these teams go through heartbreak. That's part of being a sports fan. If the Niners get to the Super Bowl, they get to the divisional round, or they get to the NFC title game and lose, I will say, you know what? We were never supposed to be here to begin with. Fuck it. Imagine if we were healthy. How much farther could we have gotten? But look, we could be last year where we're already out of the playoffs and we're just fucking moping around. Let's play spoiler. Whenever a fan tells me, hey, you know what? At least now we get to play spoiler. My response to that is always, fuck that. That's the last thing I want to see is our team become a spoiler. Why? So we can, oh, fuck you. You're not going to the playoffs now, just like us. Hey. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know shit
It doesn't feel that bad sometimes, though.
I can't stand being a spoiler. I can't. Because then you end up losing because of your deficiencies. Now, look, when it comes to all the sports we're talking about, right? NFL, to me at least, that is the hardest sport to get hot and go to the Super Bowl and win a championship. You could do it in the NBA because it's a team sport. You know, they play on offense and defense. Baseball, you get hot, your pitching, you know, is doing well. You can ride that all the way to a championship. With football, it's hard because there's so many different dimensions of the game that you have to not fuck up on. And a lot of these teams, they have really good defenses, really good offenses. They have playmakers on special teams. I mean, like, they do everything right. And so there's so many different elements to the game that, to me, football is the hardest one to say, hey, if we get hot, we might win the Super Bowl. That's the hardest sport because when you see a team go against a more superior team in the NFL, you can see the difference like pretty clearly. It won't take much time to say, okay, this team is better. How many playoff games have we watched? Well, not even the Niners, where it's just like, you know, I don't know, I'm making shit up. Like Vikings against Detroit or, you know, an early round playoff game, and you're like, this team's not that good. They're going to lose this game. And they end up losing, like, you know, the team loses, you know, 24-10. You know, it wasn't even close. You're just like, yeah.
Just take San Francisco and the Packers in 2019. They got boat raced, and they thought they had house money. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it is not winning in my lifetime. Maybe it's seeing this team losing the way they've lost in 3 Super Bowls. It's just like, you know, yeah, they are playing with house money. Yes, in some degree, you can play spoiler because you're not supposed to be here and you're going to upset someone's season along the way, potentially. Like, wouldn't it be great to watch the Rams and the Seahawks fall to the 5th and 6th seed in San Francisco as the 1 seed? And if they do that, they will have played the Bears at home, the Seahawks at home, 2 playoff games at home, and maybe a Super Bowl at home. 5 weeks, over a month of straight home games.
That's insane.
To get to the Super Bowl. Like, they're playing with house money. It's kind of rounding out right for them. They're getting Yetur Gross-Matos back this week. Tatum Bethune's back this week, hopefully. It seems like Pearsall is kind of gearing up to play. He was out there today on the sideline. Nick Martin was doing the same thing. Like, there are some things on top of winning and the schedule and the way things are panning out, leading in San Francisco's favor, which, while there's so many games to be played, anything can happen on Monday, next Sunday, and after that. Like, this is right now the best I have felt all year as a San Francisco 49er fan. And I think everybody should feel maybe not innate confidence, but feel really confident in the team going forward.
I want to segue into the injuries, and then I want to segue back into, you mentioned Pearsall. I have a question for you guys. I posted it in the chat about what I wanted to talk about. So let's bring up this is the injury report from earlier today with Cam in a minute. I don't know if it was like right at the beginning of practice or right at the end. So let's take a look at it. So 49ers did Ricky Pearsall, linebacker Nick Martin did not practice conditioning on the side. Elliott, Samo, Yetur Gross-Matos are participating, as is linebacker Bethune and Hendricks, which is fantastic news for me because we got to get freaking Curtis Robinson out of there. Oh my God. Renardo Green, no contact jersey, neck. Guys, I wouldn't be upset if they sat him. He's been struggling a ton lately. And I wouldn't mind seeing, I never thought I'd say this, Darrell Luter at corner. I mean, he's not that great, but that's just that. And then, of course, McCaffrey and Williams back from rest day. Segueing back in with the Ricky Pearsall thing. We're almost 2 years in. We're almost 2 years in with this guy, right, guys? Almost 2 years in, and I feel like we don't know him yet. I still don't think we know exactly what we have, especially going into an offseason where Brandon Ayuk is going to leave, and Jawan Jennings isn't a sure thing. I saw Larry talk about how he has a whopping 0 touchdowns, and he's been hurt. I'm not going to bag on him for being hurt like I usually do, calling him princess and whatever, but I know that John Lynch was asked about, the whole injury prone thing. He says, no, I don't think so. The PCL injury is tough. I've had one. They don't go away. You have to have ample time to heal. And then the ankle, that was a tackle that you guys are right, was outlawed, and they still did it. He's extremely tough coming back from that, and then fell on his knee later. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know I really don't know what to think of the guy. And he's almost 2 years in. We're going into year 3 next year. Are you guys comfortable going into 2026 with him being your quote unquote top of the depth chart wide receiver? Or do you have as many questions as I do? One, can he stay healthy? Because you were right, Sterling. He was healthy in college. Gets to the pros. Unfortunately, that situation happened last year. I don't want to say it on here, and then he got hurt early on in, I think, that training camp before that happened. And then the situation this year with the PCL, like, what do you guys, either of you can go, but what do you guys think about him?
I think he is what he is. I mean, we've seen him when he's healthy and the difference that he makes on the field. I think this guy can be, in my opinion, I think this guy can be a Brandon Ayuk type player. Runs good routes, stretches the field, has really good hands, can make the catch, can adjust his body to make the catch when need be. And I think he's very athletic. The problem is obviously is that his injuries aren't like his back or his ribs it's his knee. It's continuing to bother him. And when you have to push off of that and your ankle's jacked up, that's going to hurt. Now, obviously, he's posting things about Jacob Cowing. I don't know where he fits in to the receiving core. So that's going to be interesting to see. But I think when healthy, Ricky Pearsall is a huge difference maker for San Francisco.
Yeah. Am I comfortable with Ricky being the number 1 on this offense going forward? No, because he never was supposed to be. That's just the truth. He was supposed to be Brandon Ayuk. He was supposed to be Jawan Jennings. And I think on paper, Ricky has the skill set to be awesome in the NFL. He has the crisp route running. He has the speed. He has the agility. He's very much built and can be a receiver like Tyler Lockett was for Seattle, who wasn't their number 1 wide receiver, but he was a darn good wide receiver for 10 plus years. He just needs to stay healthy. Now, can he? I don't know. I think he's gotten a lot of bad luck. And unfortunately, in the years and how it's happened, you get popped in the chest and you're out for half a season for obvious reasons. And really any play you get from Ricky is kind of a luxury, knowing he could have died. That's kind of where I'm at right now with him. But I just think that the PCL stuff is tricky too, because it can be serious. You've seen guys, have PCL injuries and be out for 8 weeks, and Ricky missed a lot of time. I think he tried to play against Jacksonville when he shouldn't have, and it made things worse, like Brock Purdy did. I think they can beat the Colts without him. I will say that. But you saw against Tennessee, he's a game changer. That was his first kind of reemergence back into the offense. But he's so different than any other receiver in the offense right now. He's not Jawan Jennings. He isn't 6'3". He isn't 220, 210 pounds. He isn't going to bulldoze guys over. He's going to make guys miss and kind of fit into small spaces and give you excellent hands. That said, I think San Francisco's probably going to draft a wide receiver next year, as they should. This team needs one. They're going to lose two of their biggest names, if not more of them. If things go wrong, you're going to lose KB, you're going to lose Jennings, you're going to lose Ayuk, what seems like. Now, to push back on the no touchdown thing, and I get that's more of a first-round draft pick with no touchdowns. Why so? Juwan Jennings is the only San Francisco 49er receiver this year that has a touchdown. Marcus Robinson doesn't have one. KB doesn't have one, I don't think. Callie doesn't have one. Watkins doesn't have one. Sky Moore doesn't have one. It's just Juwan Jennings, and that's it. So, I don't know. I love Ricky. The skill set fits what this offense wants to do, but you got to stay healthy at the right time, which he hasn't been. Hopefully he can be.
My thing with him is, and I know Monday when we were on, or Tuesday, I forget exactly when we were on, me and Mike, he talked about how he hasn't really seen an ability from him to, one, separate and get yak after the catch. He's kind of catch, tackle, catch, out of bounds.
We saw it against Tennessee last weekend, right? Big 38-yard reception over the middle.
Yeah. I mean, but he still looks hampered. And maybe that's the knee, or maybe that was the ankle. But I would love to see him just continue to, like, if we're going into next year and we're going to lose two guys in the receiving core, I would love to see him shoot. If we make it to the playoffs and we're the 1 seed, I would love for him to become, and you can't force a guy the ball, right? You can't, I'm going to build a game plan around him and throw the ball and get a bunch of interceptions. But there's some things I want to see as the season ends, because if we do let those two guys go, we have two huge holes in the roster. I would love for them to keep Juwan Jennings if they can come to some sort of deal. I know you posted something about it yesterday about, what kind of deal might be something they could do. And then the other one, I deleted it as a topic, but the whole Watkins thing, where Kyle is pretty much, he's in a doghouse. Big surprise, receiver drafted in a doghouse, right? We haven't seen him all year, even when he's been healthy, and mainly because he wants to see him practice differently in order to get on the field. And I'm like, shoot, I want to know what I have in this guy. If we're going to be letting two guys depart, just put him on the damn field. And the Niners don't have any, like, they're so congested on offense, right? Even with Pearsall, and like they have this guy that we don't know anything about, and we're coming to the end of the season. So there's just all this. I have all this concern.
Are they congested in the offense because that's what we saw for the majority of the season, or are they becoming more open downfield with Purdy playing quarterback? You've seen them be more explosive down the field with Kittle and Pearsall and Jennings. Not to say you're wrong, because you're not. I'm just saying that we
don't have a lot of speed on us. We don't have a lot of speed.
You're right. But I don't think they actually need a lot of speed. I think Cowan coming back next week's a big thing for them. Hopefully he'll be a factor. Small dude, but he did bulk up, and we haven't got to see it just yet. So maybe there is some good stuff in there. But I don't know. Like, what I'd be more upset about if I were fans is that this team drafted a bunch of offensive pieces in the rounds 4 through 7. You haven't seen Rourke because he was hurt. Jordan James is healthy but can't get out there. Jordan Watkins is healthy. He's played one game all season. And Connor Colby, your 7th-round offensive lineman, has played the most snaps of any offensive player you drafted this year. That is a bigger problem to me.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with this last couple weeks, and depending on how we make the playoffs, and then how far we get in the playoffs. I would love to see something.
Where does he fit in the offense? Like, who has to leave the roster to make space for him? Or has he already been on the roster?
He's on IR right now. They're going to open his window after Monday's game.
Okay.
Who's he replacing, though? That's the thing.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, who's he going to replace? He's not going to replace Kendrick Bourne. Robinson. I think they're looking at, is Pearsall going to get hurt? Is who?
Why not KB? Let's go back to the practice squad. Who's going to sign him?
You never know. The Rams.
Go be our Devontae Adams replacement.
Yeah, we got him. But that's the only thing I'm wondering about, because Jordan Watkins, dude, the guy hasn't done anything, and I don't know what the deal is about him always being inactive, but it's just kind of weird. You draft this guy, but you don't ever play the guy, and the guy played in the SEC. It's not like he played in the Mountain West Division. No, he played in what some would call the 5th division or the 6th division of the NFL. So it's kind of like, give this guy a shot. He's got speed, he's got athleticism, but at the same time, Kyle's a guy where he's like, hey, you haven't been in my offense all year. I'm not about to throw you out there. And
Kyle doesn't trust anybody but the guys he trusts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The guys he trusts are Pearsall, Jennings, Kendrick Bourne. That's who he trusts.
And DeMarcus Robinson as of recent.
And DeMarcus Robinson, yeah.
Which was nice to see because so far that's been a complete dud of a signing. Mike from SF Gold Rush. What's up, Mike? He said, and we were talking about this the last time we streamed. He said all of his catches, that being Pearsall, most part are contested, where he gets tackled right away. Hold on, I'm going to bring this up. Let me bring it up. Where it's contested, where the defender is all over him, he gets tackled right away. No time to protect himself due to no separation at the catch point. I mean, I haven't, like, other than last year, that one game against Tampa, and a little bit in this game, and yeah, I haven't really seen a guy that is like a burner, like where you see him just flying past a defender with tons of separation. I haven't seen it personally, unless I'm just maybe I have like a Pearsall bias, right? I block stuff out or something. But like, what do you say to Mike's point? Either of you?
I mean, I would say that film would probably push back on that a little bit. Yeah, I think a lot of his catches have been contested, but a lot of the times what ball you catch isn't always the route you run. So take the play against Carolina, for example, right? There is space between him and the cornerback. Brock threw the football that got picked off, right? There was a big against Tennessee last Sunday. There was a lot of separation, although there was some tight windows. I think we also have to look at last Sunday as, the ankle injury on the first play of the game probably hindered him somewhat.
Slow him down.
True.
And then you go into coming off the injury against Arizona and against the Browns. Like, is Pearsall 100%? I don't know. I think, you can look at it and say, well, this, that, and the other, and maybe a lot of it's true. I haven't looked into Pearsall separation stats, but I'd push back on it a little bit. But that said, he's still catching the football, so that's a good thing.
I'm happy that he was able to kind of shine a little bit last week, and we got to see a little bit of what he can do. But yeah, there's just I just have questions going into hopefully a long playoff run when it comes to Pearsall, because like, hey, I would love to keep Juwan, but they might not, and of course,
I think they will.
Ayuk is toast, which actually brings me to the next topic. I know you said delete.
What a segue!
What a segue! He set us up.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it because what Kyle said in the press conference, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear this because it sounded like somebody was filming it through like a box of Kleenex. I could barely hear anything. He was asked about the whole situation with Brandon Ayuk. I didn't know, essentially, that they really haven't seen him or had much interaction with him since he got hurt last year.
Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that.
Yeah, that's new.
I mean, it seems quite clear. Well, we don't know exactly all the details, obviously, but it seems clear that he played a role in getting it to this point where he's no longer with the team. Do you look back, whether personally or just organizationally, and like since the time he signed that extension, have any regrets or like maybe we could have done this or done that or handled this better?
I mean, didn't get to hang out around Ayuk much since he tore his ACL in Week 7, I think, versus Kansas City. So he's been trying to get him back to our team really since then, and haven't been able to pull that off. So haven't totally had the opportunity to get him part of our team. He's been extremely distant since he got hurt, and was hoping it would happen once he got healthy, but never happened. I don't look at anything right now but our football team, playing the Colts, what we have going now, not stuff that I haven't thought about since July.
There was that period where he was on the field for training camp and before games. It looked like he was wanting to be here, but was there more going on behind the scenes that we didn't understand?
I think, obviously.
He don't like you, Grant. Oh, I guess that's it.
That's it. Yeah, look, I mean, when it comes to Brandon Ayuk, I mean, even TJ Houshmandzadeh today, his personal receiving trainer said, I don't get it. Like, when he gets older, he's probably going to regret that. So, I mean, even he's saying that. And then you hear what Kyle's saying. Everybody, look, whatever happened there, it just got real weird. It got real fucking weird. And Brandon Ayuk, he has proven, like most players who get paid in professional sports, they're just weird dudes. And like this guy's just fucking weird.
They're just weird dudes.
They're just weird. Like Kevin Durant. When we got Kevin Durant, I was like, yeah. And then you started seeing some of his posts on social media and the things that he would say. I was like, this guy's weird.
He doesn't
He's
even
a
like to
weird
shower.
guy.
Or lotion his legs
I like
up.
to wait
He's
2
weird.
days to shower so it feels like I'm in the trenches. And I
Yeah,
replied to
that's
that
weird.
with, gross, dude. Come on. You smell like ass when you're running around out there? Come on, dude.
It may make guys not want to play defense against him, so it may be a good strategy.
Maybe they're like,
to think about
oh,
it.
God,
Did you
just
ever
go,
hear
just
about Tony
go. Just
Saragusa?
go.
Did you guys ever hear about I just tell this to my dad when he's alive because my dad loved like poop jokes and like toilet humor. So there was a clip from Saragusa, R.I.P. He was a defensive tackle for the Colts and then for the Ravens during the Super Bowl years. He said he wouldn't shower before games. Like he wouldn't wipe his ass or shower, and because he wanted to smell really bad. So that is possible for people to just want to be funky. I don't know how that's possible. I can't stand the stink of my own like stink. So, but yeah, the people are up
awesome.
there. I mean, can you really be that surprised when you look at Kevin Durant? I mean, he doesn't brush his hair. He doesn't use lotion. He just looks like, I got a lot of money.
Weird.
And you
Moise
don't.
Alou used to pee on his hands every day because it gave him better grip.
did.
Like, don't slap him
He
high
did.
fives. You're like, oh,
That's weird.
damn. So people,
least he's not-
players do
not
weird
wrong.
shit. They do really weird shit. But when it comes to Brandon Ayuk, look, the guy tripped out. The guy stopped showing up. I think the guy figured that they weren't gonna void his guaranteed money. He probably thought he was like, they need me more than I need them, so they're just gonna accept it. And then when it happened, that was pretty much the end. I know John Lynch had mentioned, well, the whole idea it was always get him back on the field. That was never going to happen. It wasn't. Brandon Ayuk never showed up. He never talked to them after that. He ghosted them and just said, forget it. I'd rather just be a free agent next year. I'll just work on rehabbing and getting healthy, and then I'll go play for the Commanders or somebody. I still believe somebody out there, probably like a Jaden Daniels, told him, like, hey, if you're a free agent, dude, we're going to sign you. Don't worry. Like, I'll make sure they sign you.
Jaden Daniels needs to learn how to stay healthy and put some weight on, dude. Like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you draft a small quarterback. I mean, look at Bryce Young. He's just as small as he is. The little guys. Brock Purdy's only 6'1", but he's a little thicker than they are. Those guys look like special teamers out there playing quarterback. It's crazy. But yeah, with Brandon Ayuk, look, when it comes to him and basically abandoning his team and all that stuff, not going to be on the roster anymore, it's like, don't let the door hit you on the vagina on the way out, dude. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care. Go away. And you can see in Kyle Shanahan, he basically wanted to say, like, bro, you know what? I don't give a fuck about Brandon Ayuk. I'm focusing on the game ahead of us because he's a bitch.
I just want to know why Grant even attempted to lob that grenade at Kyle as if he was going to get something. Like, gotcha. Like, I just love how Kyle was just like, shut that thing down completely. That made me smile. Of course, he has to make his way into the interview right at the end. I don't know, man. It's just weird. He's always had a weird personality. Like, his body language is always like he doesn't want to talk. If you ever watch like any IU's press conferences, he's always moving. He's never like still. He's like a guy that's not comfortable in his own skin. I just think it's weird energy that like you don't care if you're losing money. You just don't care. You wonder if his mental health is right. CTE people. I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. Like, is he dealing with some sort of physical or mental health thing that he just doesn't care about football anymore? Is he going to retire, or what is so bad about the 49ers that he just wants out so bad that
so that's the thing right there. Like that is the question I think we all are trying to find answers to, because he played 6.5 games last year with San Francisco after signing a massive contract, after also having 4 teams make offers to the Niners to acquire him. The Browns, the Steelers, the Patriots, and the Commanders. The Steelers of that bunch were going to pay him $32 million a year. And he said no to 3 of them. And he was about to go to Pittsburgh. We all know the story now. Shanahan goes up the stairs and tells John no. But the Niners weren't a place you didn't want to play for last year. Now there was some negotiation tactics, sure, that made things harder than they should have been. He admitted that himself, but you wanted to be a Niner last year. You signed that contract for a reason. And you willingly chose to play for them over 4 other teams that wanted to acquire you. So the question becomes, what changed from you signing that contract to you getting hurt to now, and we talked about this plenty of times, that he was at the facility throughout training camp. He was on the field before preseason games running routes with Brock Purdy at quarterback. He was out there leading into week 2 of the NFL season, making himself known. So what happened from signing your contract to getting injured and then into training camp this year? Because he still showed up on videos during practices, during preseason games, even after getting his contract guarantees voided. So what was the point of that? To make yourself known? To make yourself seen? To who? At that point, you can't get traded. It's like, so a lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it leads to dead ends.
Yeah.
It just feels like a guy that he heard all the noise of himself. The team hated the deal they signed. They regretted it immediately, even before he got hurt. Then he gets hurt. He isolates himself. He didn't want to be there anymore for whatever reason that came up. And, sometimes people turn toxic. Sometimes when they get money, people reveal them true selves. And I like Brandon Ayuk still. I wish him well. I hope he returns healthy and everything, because you never want injuries to hinder someone's career. But it doesn't feel like this has anything to do with football-related activities. And that's the worst part about this. It's all off the field crap. It's all in his head. It's all disgruntlement with the organization itself. It's all, relationship issues. And the Niners have to realize, and I think they know this now, you don't pay players, you pay people. And the Niners right now paid the wrong person. And it sucks to say that. It really sucks. But I can also say this. I, like John Lynch this morning, am tired of talking about Brandon Ayuk. Not on the team now. Not on the team ever again. He's not going to help this team in a playoff game. Not going to help this team against the Colts. It's like, so really, screw him. You don't want to be here? I don't want you to be here. Sayonara and see you later.
And they tried too. They played the political, say all the right things game, which, as much as I can get on John and Kyle, especially John sometimes, John really tries to be a good guy in the media, and I believe he's like that behind the scenes. But you reach a point where it's like, you know what, dude? Whatever. You don't want to be here, like you said, then don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. So as soon as this, I still don't know if they're going to wait till the post June 1st before they make any moves, or are they so willing to get rid of him that they would eat some sort of cap situation where they had to eat some money. Like, I'll be interesting to see whenever their season ends, how quickly they move off of him, how quickly he's gone.
They have to eat money either way.
Yeah, true.
So it's more just about, do you want to split it over 2 years, or do you want to get rid of it all in 2026? That's the real question.
What is your thought, Sterling?
I'd try to trade him. I don't know who'd take him, but maybe you could find some sucker out there. Some teams are dumb. But I think they're going to cut him up front and give him a post June 1st and just be done with it. Just eat it all at the beginning and say, it's like getting a divorce or you're breaking up with your girlfriend. It's just like, the quicker I can remove myself from the situation, the better. I think that's what San Francisco wants to do.
Okay. I think somebody in the comments says they just don't want to hear about it anymore. I think it was Cam's dad. So
it's just weird.
That might be the. The only reason I wanted to bring it up is that video with Kyle responding to, like, we knew that stuff was weird, but now he's talking like, oh, he didn't show up. Like, he was pretty much a ghost, or at least he was distant. He said as soon as that injury happened last year. So I know, I thought that was new news, but maybe according to some people that are close to the team, it's not really. So, let's, I wanted to touch on the defense a little bit. we get some reinforcements back. I don't know if they even really matter, to be honest with you. Something that I saw or I saw from Larry, and it was somebody talking shit in the comments.
Yeah, tell me.
Sterling said Aaron should replace iPuke. What?
It's like Ayuk, but I
Got it. Bam. Yeah, I got you.
Go run me a post route, Aaron, while you can. I'll hit you in stride, I promise.
I might fall down even if I have a clear area to run.
I'll throw you open, I swear.
So something that two things that were really concerning last week, and that was the 49ers went into a game against a team on defense or on offense who had given up, I don't know if it was a league high or pretty close to league high, 49 sacks. 49ers got 0. They couldn't even fall into a sack last week. And then you look at some of their defensive stats. The 49ers are 32nd in opponents' rushing success rate, which is dead last, and they're 31st in pressure rate. Can they improve at all? Is there anything they can do, even with maybe a return of a Yuta Gross-Matos and a Sam O, or is it gonna? Because one of the reasons I was getting a little bit crusty last week about things, it's like you're going into a game against the Titans where they haven't done anything, and that's the best defensive showing you could give. Like, that's where I get weird about when people are like, well, you don't expect them to win anyways, or they're not going to beat it. Yeah, because when you see stuff like that, it's like, wow, they really suck on defense. Like, I don't know. You guys take stuff way better in stride than I do. Like, I was pretty hot after that game. Like, dude, it's the Titans and you still gave up 24 points. Like, really? Like, I don't know. No sacks again. Like, you have professional defensive linemen, regardless if they're not stars. You can't get one sack. You have less sacks in total. Like, the Niners' total sacks, and you know where I'm going with this. And then you got Myles Garrett, who's got more than the whole 49ers team. It's just, and I know who's missing and I know who's hurt, but it's just like, wow, I don't know, man. That's where my doubt and my sitting on the fence when it comes to how much I truly believe on this team, even if they get the number 1 seed, that's where it comes from.
Well, I would say when you look at the Tennessee Titans, they gave up 24 points to Tennessee, and they were up big. They won 30-24. The Niners won 37-24. Both had big leads. Both allowed them to score points late in the game, which didn't mean much. They also scored 31 points in a win against the number 2 ranked defense in the Cleveland Browns. Now, obviously, the Browns suck, but I mean they have a good defense, and they put up 29 points that game. They still couldn't win. So, but to me, the Titans, the Seahawks giving up 24 points to the Titans kind of shows you that they can still score some points this late in the season. Now they're getting a little more comfortable with their players. Pass rush wise, we can't pass rush anybody. You've seen the Niners go to a more of a zone look in the secondary because they know that the offensive line or defensive line can't get pressure. So keep everything in front of you. Don't allow the big chunk plays and limit the damage on what they can do. And so that's basically what they're trying to do every game now. Now, the last time they went against a quarterback that had the ability to carve them up was Matthew Stafford. Since then, it's been Jacoby Brissett, Bryce Young, Cam Ward.
Brissett's at the completion record.
Yeah, but we were blowing them out. So he was just throwing the ball left and right. They weren't going to run the ball.
Well, that's the weird thing, though. They were blowing them out. We know they were passing every play. Nothing. You can't get one.
But at that point, it didn't really even matter. At what point in that game did I feel like, oh, the Cardinals might come back and win this game? Never. And so, yeah, there was no two-dimensional. We're gonna run the ball and throw the ball. No, they were just throwing the ball every single time. Sterling's dog probably agrees with me. That's why he's yelling out right now. But that's what the Niners have to do. Moving forward, the Niners, their whole goal on defense is just limit the damage. Keep the score within reach. Don't give up the big plays. Don't give up the big scores, even though they did last week, but it was in garbage time. So
what about the horrendous run defense where they can't stop anybody? And the only reason they have their ranking is high because the teams stop running because they're behind. But the actual, if you watch games with a discerning eye and you watch games and non-analytics and not PFF, they can't stop the run. They cannot stop the run, the 49ers. They suck at stopping the run.
The Niners have the 12th ranked running defense, allowing 106.1 a game, which is 12th in the league.
I feel
right
like
behind, but it's right behind the Rams and right ahead of the Lions and the Browns.
But that's a thing because the Niners have been up in a lot of games against these freaking what I call beta cans.
Then right there is how you win games.
Stay
Your
ahead.
offense plays well. You get off to an early lead. You make teams pass the football. It's exactly what San Francisco has to do against the Colts this Monday. You get ahead,
stuff the box,
get the ball out of Jonathan Taylor's hands, make Rivers have to beat you. And yeah, you can talk about the defense, but a lot of that is on the offense too. If the offense does their job, this team can be up 14-0 in a flash against this Colts defense. They are going to get some pass rush help back. It's not going to be Robert Beal Jr. Don't forget, last Sunday against Tennessee, no Samo, no Jordan Elliott, who'd been their best interior pass rusher all year long, albeit he isn't that great. No Ichir Gross-Matos. And they haven't had their second string Mike linebacker in the last couple weeks, who's a better run defender than Curtis Robinson. So I know we're kind of trying to thread a needle here of like, how can they improve? And who's coming back really isn't that good. But I don't know. I just think that if you're expecting San Francisco to have this overwhelming improvement on defense, it's fool's gold. It's not going to happen. But if they can get minimally better on the margins, they can be a better defense going forward. This team had an all-time stinker in that fourth quarter against Tennessee in coverage. They dropped 3 interceptions. The odds that happens again is very, very slim. You saw last night against the Seahawks, Matthew Stafford threw 2 picks that were not picked off because the guy couldn't bring them in. And so, look, I just think that San Francisco, they're playing a 44-year-old quarterback this Monday that can't throw the ball 10-plus yards downfield. Stack the box, make Taylor have to face 9 guys, and all they have to do is freaking tackle. That's the issue. They don't tackle well. The safeties play up, they go in for a big hit, and they whiff 9 times out of 10. If they get back to basics and they wrap up and they use their bodies, use their arms, they can get some tackles. You won't see 20-yard runs downfield. You won't see 5 yards a carry. You'll see 4.5 yards a carry, which is way better than 5. So, they're not going to get much better. There isn't a lot of help coming, but it's marginal help. But if you mix that marginal help with tackling prowess and hopefully better getting back to basics, you're fine. Your offense is on a heater. You're great on special teams. And really, it's the problem right now is that once guys get to the level 2 and 3 of the defense, nobody can bring them home. Nobody can bring them down. And I think if the linebackers can tackle better, Winters, Bethune, Robinson, Martin, if Eric Kendricks plays, and really, if the safeties can stop playing with their heads in their ass and tackle somebody, you'll see them play better in the upcoming games.
I think the thing with me is just, people ask me like, are you completely sold on the 49ers if they get into the playoffs? Offensively, yes, I am. I think they can score points, and it's pretty awesome. It's the defense, and it's going to be the defense. And I just think it's going to be weird. Like if they end up falling short, the narrative is going to switch from, well, we didn't have the guys anyway. So, we were never expected to win. So it's like, which is it? Which is it? Are we good enough? Can we figure out a way to do it? Or when the narrative switches and we don't win, then, well, we were never supposed to be here anyways. To me, it's just weird
why can't both things be true? Why can't you be good enough, but because you don't have a lot of your injured players that are elite guys, you have the best linebacker in football and a top 5 edge rusher, those are built-in reasonable excuses and justifiable ones. So why can't both things be true?
It's true. I don't know. I'm not sold. And people, I don't want to say the Niners are pretenders, but that's where my contention or my doubt lies. So, Sterling has to get out of here. So I don't know if you guys want to do a score prediction or just say if you think the 49ers are going to win or lose and we can get out of here.
Dre?
The Niners, I think, will win this game. You got to figure Phillip Rivers woke up Monday morning and could probably barely move. Like, "Ah!" So he slowly had to they've had to pump his body full of who knows what to get him able to be flexible to a certain degree. He's got a dad bod, and I get it, man. I mean, guy hasn't played in 5 years. He played against the Seahawks in Seattle. Like, oh my God, what? I would have thought they would have waited until this week to play Phillip Rivers. Like, let's give him an additional week to get into shape and learn. Oh no, they just threw him out there. It was like, oh, okay. So you're looking at a lot of short passes. I think they will take some shots on the field, knowing the Niners won't expect that. This is a game where it's going to remind me, this is a game that reminds me of the Atlanta Falcons game. What do you do to stop the Falcons? You stop Bijan Robinson. What do you do to stop the Colts? You stop, what's his name? Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
I always want to call him Fred Taylor. You want to stop Jonathan Taylor.
Also great.
If you can condense him, then you have a shot to win. Because he's the majority of their offense. And we saw Phillip Rivers, he can't lead them physically down the field just on his arm alone. And typically guys of his age, second week, he's going to be even worse. So to wrap things up, I think Niners win this game. I'm going to go with the final score of 34-13. I think the Colts offense just cannot get it going. Actually, I'm going to change that, because the Niners defense tends to give up points at the end of the game. So I'm going to say 34-21.
Okay. I think I would second a lot of everything that Dre said. I'd also add on to watching out for Tyler Warren on the screen passes and dump offs. It's going to be underneath game. Again, you got to tackle to win. I think San Francisco's offense, if they can get off to a hot start and make Rivers have to throw the ball a lot, that feeds into exactly what they want to do. There's no velocity on that ball. And if he has to push the ball downfield, the odds are they're going to get a pick in this game. And I think they will against Rivers. That said, I think it's a slow Christian McCaffrey game on the ground again, but I think it's a big Brock Purdy day through the air. Both the Colts' top outside cornerbacks aren't going to play.
So no Ward, no Sauce?
I don't think so, no. Buckner is back for them, which is a big plus, but Burford's also back for San Francisco, so the offensive line is intact, which is big for the 49ers. That said, I think San Francisco wins 26-24. I think it's close, but I think the Colts score a garbage time touchdown, try to make things close, but can't at the end of the game. So I think San Francisco wins, though. I have the utmost confidence in that going into Monday.
I'm going to just say that I don't know too much about the offense other than that they have a really good running back and their quarterback is like 50 years old. So with that being said, the Niners just need to score and score a lot. So I'm going to go 49ers 34 and I'm going to go Indianapolis Colts 21. I think then, like you said, they're going to give up some late stuff and it's not going to, it won't be like a pretty win, but at the end of the day, I think the 49ers just have more talent, at least on offense, than the Colts do at this present time. So that's why I'm going with the 34-21 victory.
And the Colts, they have the number 31 ranked passing defense, which is crazy.
Good,
because you would have thought Sam Darnold would have taken advantage of that, but apparently he couldn't. Because if it's not Smith and Jigba, then I'm not throwing the ball. That's going right into the dirt. And you look at the Seahawks, they have Kenneth Walker as their main running back. I mean, it's very pedestrian. Yeah, but it wasn't until late last night that he actually started to do stuff. So you go against Niners, you got Christian McCaffrey, you have George Kittle, you have the receiving core. I think we represent a bigger threat, more weapons on offense, and that's where they're going to have a hard time. A lot of play action, a lot of running away from DeForest Buckner and using the play action to kind of stunt their secondary and lead to a big chunk yardage. So, yeah, the Niners are going to win this game.
One more note. Colts have the 8th worst ranked linebacker in coverage playing Mike Zaire Franklin for them. And Jermaine Pratt, their other coverage linebacker, also ranks in the low 20s in coverage. So it could be a big George Kittle day once again. So whatever Kittle's overs or unders are, hit the over by a lot.
I'll just say this and then we'll end it. Niners defense, you're going to answer a lot of questions, at least for me, if you play poorly against a guy that can't push the ball. That to me is going to be a big thing for me. It's going to be a telling thing going forward if we do get the number 1 seed and if we make the playoffs, that if a guy who can barely move and barely throw the ball is able to carve you up, says a lot.
He won't.
That's all I'm going to say.
But
and I
real
hope
quick,
not.
where the Niners find the most success compared to other teams in the league is on third down. They're the number 2 ranked third down offense in the league behind the Green Bay Packers at 49.2% success rate. You look over at the Colts, they are the number 24 ranked third down defense in the league with a success rate of 41.4. So the Niners are going to carve them up on third down and extend drives and essentially keep the offense. This game is basically play keep away from Jonathan Taylor. Just don't let him do anything, and then just keep the ball for as long as you can, win time possession, and it's over.
I agree. All right, everyone. It's been a great one. Thanks for the participation, the super chats, the conversation. It was great. I truly appreciated it, guys. We'll do this again next week. Hopefully we're talking a 49ers victory. I think a playoff berth that they win. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes.
So they get into the playoffs, and then we got 2 more after that. So everybody take care. Sterling, I know you got to go. I got to go. Dre, probably got to get out of here too. So everyone, thanks, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace. And the stream.